time to any discussion on this?
I'd like to say a few things about Dr. Ellis and her tenure in the Carter County school system. Dr. Ellis has been a teacher, a coach, principal, supervisor, various duties in the Carter County school system for many a year. And during that time, the reputation that she has always had for excellence, determination, hard work, and doing a good job. 2 years ago, she was put in as director of schools. And I personally think that she was the right person for the right time, because the biggest situation, biggest things we're facing now, and we may not always agree with it, is testing, evaluation, and this race to the top. And Dr. Ellis has been kind of the testing person, the curriculum development person, and her evaluation skills are great. And I think she is a person to follow through with this situation at this time because of those skills. I think she's done an outstanding job as director of schools. She's made some changes that have been positive in our school system. The people that have been changed around, seems like it's always been a positive effect. And with the fact that all these awards that were given today, I think, reflect on the entire Carter County school system. You know, I think we have a good school system, but there's always room for improvement. But another thing, 2 years ago when we went to the school board conference, we were made aware of the new movement in education. It's coming to be a technical education. And the STEM, as all of you know about, you school teaching people know about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's what they're stressing. I taught school years ago, and I taught math. If I'd have given a test at that time that had over 3 written problems on it, every student in the class would have failed, because they could do the repeat stuff, but they couldn't do the deductive reasoning to solve those problems. And that's what the new education is trying to do, to solve those problems through critical reading, critical thinking. They want to be able to read for enjoyment, but also they want you to be able to read to be able to understand the technical part of it. It's just like so many times we as parents have problems putting the kids' toys together with all the instructions. But that's important, and it carries through, and that's what our country is going for. I think Dr. Ellis promotes improvement in others. She demands a lot of herself, and she expects a lot of the people that she works with and works under her. And that's the way it should be. Now, she has been known to be stern over the years at times, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's a time to be stern, just like when you're coaching. I always say this, a good coach knew when to pat them on the back and when to kick them in the butt. And if you don't know the difference, you can't motivate people. But I think she's done a good job, and the people I've talked to in this community, in this school system, I've found very few negative remarks about Dr. Ellis' tenure here and the continuation of that tenure. I think the improvement's been positive. I think we still have situations in the school system that we can improve. We'll always have that. It's an ongoing process. There's almost 6,000 students in this school system and probably 500 employees or more. I don't know how many, but it's probably approaching that. That's a great task, and you can't solve everything at one time. And sometimes it's better to take a slow approach to something and get it right than to react to things and cause problems. So I'm wholly in favor of Dr. Ellis staying 1 more year. I think it's good that she continues, especially with his evaluation that's going on now, the testing that's going on now, the curriculum development that's going on now, the things that she's strong in. And I think she has a good staff, and I think her staff supports her, at least the ones I've talked to do. And I think this, out in the schools, they support her. They think that she's doing a good job. So I'd like to recommend that we vote to keep her.
Thank you, Mr. Holder, for your opinion. Appreciate that. Does anyone else have any discussion?
I'd like to,
Go ahead.
I'd like to say, I'll echo your sentiments there exactly. And I'd like to say that it would be detrimental for our system at this point in time, especially in evaluation. The teachers have got enough on them the way it is. And with all the testing and things going on, we don't want to switch horses in the middle of the street. In my observation, and I've looked at the schools and realized that a lot of innovative things is going on that needs to continue. As I was just looking at Hampton Elementary, how their scores have increased because of the program that's there. I'd like to see this program go throughout the county. I'd like to see other things that have been started continued. And if we don't keep the ball rolling the way it is, then we're going to have to back up and start all over again. And I think it's important that we move on. And I have all the confidence in the world that Dr. Ellis would do that. And I appreciate her, I appreciate the supervisors, I appreciate the principals and the teachers for what they're doing. And I see that when I'm out there. And I know, being in the education 34 years with myself, I know when I see good teaching, I know when I see good leadership, I know that there's problems that we need to deal with, especially I think we need to put a lot of emphasis on staff development to help our teachers do a better job. I think we need to give them the resources to do it with. Now, if we, as a board, just look at one thing, and that's that child in that classroom, then we, as a part of the team, as the central office staff, as the principals out there, as the teachers, we're all on the team for one thing, and that's for that child. And that's what it's about. It's not about who does what. It's about that child. And our leadership looks good. I realize we have problems, but that can be corrected. If we'll just, as you say, take it a little time and correct it the way it ought to be corrected, then the children will benefit from this, because that's what it's all about, is that child.
Mr. Church?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I think I'm probably the junior member on this board. I've never been a teacher. As such, I came out of industry. So when these questions came up, I visited each one of the schools in Carter County, and I talked to every principal. I wanted to get their honest opinion on the administration, how it had served their purposes, and how they felt about it. I didn't go on a witch hunt. I simply asked them to express their feelings and their impression. I got 14 out of 15 schools were absolutely positive. And that's about 93% approval of this administration's function. I think that's pretty good. I personally would like to see Dr. Ellis continue. I think she's doing a great job.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? All right, we'll start down the road here. We are going to vote, this is for the extension, 1 more year contract. You'll either vote yes or no. And Mr. Blevins, we'll start with you, sir.
I'll vote no.
Vote no. Mr. Buck?
No.
Mr. Church?
Yes.
Mr. Crain votes no. Mr. Holder?
Yes.
Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Mr. McAmis?
No.
And Mr. Jerry McMahan?
No.
Okay, guys, we have a 5-3 vote. The contract extension has been voted down.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, not to be overly technical, but the contract, as it states, is an automatic renewed contract unless there is an affirmative vote for non-renewal. I think what you voted on is a vote, a motion by Mr. Church to renew the contract, but I don't think that this vote non-renews the present contract, if that's the desire of the board.
Do what now, sir?
I think the way the contract reads, it requires a vote, an affirmative vote by the board to not extend the contract for a year. I think that would require a motion to not extend the contract and an affirmative vote.
He voted for it. There were 3 for it and 5 against.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that technically, what you had was not an affirmative vote to non-renew. What
We
it would
need a
require-
motion to not.
You would need a motion to not renew for the extended year and a positive vote at that point, and it does require 5 votes.
Okay. I make a motion not to renew the contract. I second the motion.
Do we just go back to the roll call
You
also?
need to do a roll call vote.
So
and
we're
it-
voting now not to renew, is that correct?
That's correct.
Sir, would you identify yourself?
I'm Thomas Banks. I'm Turkey.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who you were.
Yes.
So we're voting
Not to renew.
not to renew, is this correct?
That's
Yes.
correct. I think that's what the contract requires, if that is
So we
the
go back down
intent
to
of the
this.
board.
Mr. Blevins, we will start all over. We are voting not to renew.
Well, how do you go to word this? Let's make sure we get this straight.
Yeah.
Mr. Lawyer, would you tell us exactly how we need to word this
The-
thing?
If
to make
it
sure
is the
it's correct?
desire of the board to, the provision in the contract says that the contract ends June the 30th unless there is an affirmative vote to not renew the contract. And so your motion, as I understand it from Mr. Blevins, is a motion to not renew for that additional year, or Mr. McAmis, I'm sorry. So your motion is to not renew, so a yes vote would terminate the contract as of June 30th, 2012.
Yes means
A
no.
no vote would extend it to June 30th, 2013. And I think the terms of the contract are such that that's what it requires.
That's
if
about
that's
as
the intention
confusing
of
as
the
a
board.
woodpecker and foul rock.
So Lawyer reads, if we say
If you say,
no, it does not continue.
if you say,
You have to
if you
say
say
I see
yes,
what you did before.
if you say yes to this vote, then Dr. Ellis's contract terminates June 30, 2012.
Okay.
And if you say no to the vote, then it goes to 2013.
Okay, Mr. Blevins, we'll start all over. You're a yes. Mr. Buck?
Yes.
And Mr. Church?
No.
I'm a yes. Mr. Holder?
No.
Mr. Julian?
No.
Mr. McAmis?
Yes.
And Mr. McMahan?
Yes.
Okay, we're 5-3 the other way. So we're legal and everything.
That, I think, is what I'd understood the board was trying to do.
I do appreciate what Dr. Ellis has done. I know when she came on board, she asked for a 2-year contract, and she pretty much told me that 2 years all she would need. Some of the board has decided to go in another direction. We appreciate everything she's done. I wish her the best. I have no problem. I do not have anything personal against you, ma'am. I do not.